Welcome to Widowcast Podcast, where you learn how to find the strength to get through your journey and the skills to coach other widows. This is not your average grief group. This is your journey group. It just may show you the way to make something amazing come out of the emotional pain and trauma of widowhood. I'm your host, Joanne Filomena. I'm the best-selling author of Widowed and Widow Coach, and I'm a professional certified life coach. Let the healing and your personal journey begin. You're listening to episode 66, The Prayer Box Request. Welcome back, my friends. I have exciting news. My first book, Widowed, has been officially released in paperback. And it's available to ship right now from Amazon, and soon it will be in bookstores. You can even order it at your local bookstore right now. Just ask for Widowed by Joanne Filomena. And my last name, in case you haven't seen it anywhere else, is F like Frank, I-L-O-M-E-N-A, Joanne Filomena. Then get ready, because The Widow Coach is due out in a couple of weeks as a Kindle. And so many of you wonderful, wonderful listeners joined in on my launch team for that book. I'm going to be sending out more information to all my launch team members very soon, and we will get word out when that book launches. Today, I want to share a story with all of you about a prayer box request that reached me here in New York all the way from California. You see, the Salvation Army has prayer request boxes in the shelters out there. The Salvation Army recognizes that there are people who do not regularly attend a church or a house of worship, but do believe in God or in a higher power. You know, the power of prayer is almost universal. So prayer boxes are regularly set out and collected by the Salvation Army so the prayer requests can be prayed over. As a matter of fact, each board member for the Salvation Army is encouraged to pull a prayer request before the monthly board meeting to take a moment to pray for. My daughter, a board member for the Oakland Salvation Army, did just that a week ago. She read the request and realized she could do a little extra for this one. She immediately texted me. This is what the request said. My husband passed away. I need the strength to make it through it and to make something of myself and for my parents, family, and friends. This beautiful widow, looking for strength, took an extra moment to include her parents, family, and friends in her request for prayers. But just reading the part that said, I need the strength to make it through it and to make something of myself, brought tears of understanding and compassion. Maybe it does for you too. I realized then that there could be widows out in California near the fires that have been taking place, widows who've not only lost their spouse, but also lost their homes to the flames. Maybe new widows who have lost their spouses to the fires. My daughter texted me with this prayer request, asking if I would be willing to donate a coaching session and perhaps a copy of my paperback Widowed. Wow. I sent her 5 copies of the book so they could find their way into any hands that need them. And not only did I offer up coaching, but I also reached out to my amazing certified widow coaches to see who would be willing to donate an hour of coaching for widows out there in California. And you know what? It did not fail to catch my notice that this prayer request was words I hear over and over from widows. It is what you need, the strength to make it through. And then a way to make something of yourself, a way to make the emotional journey mean something. right? A way to contribute, a way to work in the world that actually feels fulfilling. This is what widow coaching is all about. That want and need is what led me to doing this. This podcast began as a way to reach out to other new widows and share my story and help them know they're not alone. I wanted to share how being a life coach helped me get through. And widows wrote back to me saying, "Thank God I found your podcast. I now know I'm not insane." I wanted my podcast to be a hug for every widow who found it and listened. But now I want it to be more. I want it to not only be the strength to get through, I want it to be the way you can begin to understand coaching and how to transform your own life and the life of other widows. Right? I have a vision. It's so big, y'all. I cannot even wrap my own head around it or imagine how it might happen. But I know it will. Somehow I really feel this. And it begins with my certified widow coaches and creating a referral network of certified widow coaches. So any of you who want to work with a widow coach one-on-one for getting that help and finding the strength to get through this, we can connect you to a certified widow coach who best matches your needs. Right? A widow coach who has experienced kind of the same things, the same background maybe that you have. Maybe you lost your spouse to a long battle with cancer. And my certified widow coach that also lost her spouse to a long battle with cancer would be the perfect coach to work with you. Maybe you are widowed because your spouse commits suicide, and that has so many other losses that come along with it. We can connect you to a widow coach who also had that same experience of widowhood. Someday, you guys, I would love to have an actual Joanne the Life Coach Widow Wellness Center, staffed with coaches, with yoga classes, a masseuse on staff, a classroom for the widow coaches certification classes to have a live in-person event. I know, big and crazy dream, right? It is. It's big and crazy. But if I've learned nothing else over the last 2 years and 10 months, it is how amazing it can prove out to be when you dream big. A few days ago, I was talking to a widow who she was interested in finding out more about the Widow Coach certification course. But you know what she told me? She said she felt like she was not suited to do this. She said she was just not the outgoing, positive, upbeat personality that I am. She didn't think she was suited at all to do coaching widows or writing a book or opening a business that catered to widows. She didn't think she could step forward and dream big because she was not like me. Oh my God, please, please, please do not think I'm different than you. I was you. You know, I had been laid off from my job for a few months. And facing the fact that finding work at the age of 60 might be a little tough. You know, most corporations don't want to pay for that level of experience. They would rather hire a young gun for a lot less money. So I was dealing with that. Then my husband died from a sudden massive cardiac event here at home. There were no spousal benefits on his retirement. I was out of work. So no income compounded the shock and pain of suddenly losing him. Oh my God, I was lost. Yeah. But you know, when I was able to begin to collect myself, I was able to dream a little, right? Just a little. I was even able to maybe reach a little. And oh God, did it scare me? I was so scared, you guys. It might sound a little ridiculous now, but you have no idea. When I decided that I was going to get certified as a life coach and realized it was going to mean that I was going to have to fly from New York to California, live in a hotel for almost 2 weeks. It meant that I was leaving my house empty for 2 weeks and find a way to pay for all that. It was like a war raging in my mind. It was as if I had the little cartoon going on, you know, the one that shows the little angel on one shoulder and the little devil on the other shoulder whispering into the ears. And I had them saying things like, you have to do this. You know this is meant to be. And you can't go away for 2 weeks and leave the house empty. Jim was always here before to watch things if you had to fly for work. There's no one here to keep an eye on the house. What if a water pipe breaks? Or what if the furnace catches fire? Or maybe a tree limb could fall on the roof. And you will find a way to pay for this. You're investing in your own ability to create an income through the rest of your years. You have to find a way, something that you would love to do that you can maybe make a little money with for the rest of your life, right? And then, are you insane? There's not enough money to get you through now. If you spend all your savings to do this, then where will you be? Pushing a shopping cart alongside the freeway somewhere, looking for an overpass you can sleep under. I'm not kidding you, you guys. These were just a few of the thoughts bouncing around like with lightning speed. And if you listen to my last episode of this podcast, can you start to separate out the facts from the story? I bet you can. I had a lot of story going on. Well, I fought back the fear and the craziness, and I flew out there. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. Was I then Joanne the life coach and all better? Oh, hell to the no, my friends. I still had to complete certification, which had terrifying steps along the way. I had expenses come up that I had to tackle, and I had to buy things to keep investing in me, like the microphone you're listening to me on. Then I had to put myself out there. Oh dear. I had to get visible in the world. I had to start making offers to others to coach them. You have no idea how scary that can be. Can you imagine, like, trying to make people see you? It sounds pathetic, I know it, but oh my gosh, you guys, it is such a gut-wrenching experience to just start trying to be visible in the world and offering to coach. That was only the beginning of who I became, right? And have I made something of myself? Well, heck, it might still be debatable, but I can with confidence look you in the eye and say, I'm Joanne the life coach. I teach and certify widow coaches to help other widows find the strength to get through so they can both find meaning in their lives again. Boom. That's who I am today. So today, this is going to be about the new direction I'm going to be taking the episodes of this podcast. We're going to explore some of the tools and concepts of coaching widows, just like I share in my new book, The Widow Coach. I'm so excited, you guys. This is my heart's work. Next year, over the next year, starting now, over the next year, we are going to explore each chapter of my new book, because each chapter is about a tool or concept that I teach when I instruct my widow coaches. And you will have the chance to start hearing about those tools and concepts that I teach in Widow Coaches class. Hopefully, the first 60-some episodes of this podcast continues to help others find the strength to get through. And if you are a brand new widow and you are still just trying to find the way to get through the day, you might want to go back to older episodes in this podcast. Listen to my journey through that first year. The next 60 odd episodes hopefully will begin to light the way for how you can learn who you are on a level you have never explored before. And yes, even make something of yourself. So, hang on to your fall sweaters. This is going to be some ride. One that is going to take you to a place in your life that you have never been before. And that's my wish for you. Listen, if you loved this episode, I would be so grateful if you could leave me a review on iTunes. I would love to get to 100 reviews here in iTunes. It's how this podcast can be found by other widows who need to join in with the rest of you listening. So come on, let's find our tribe. Go into your podcast or iTunes app and do a search, just as if you had never subscribed to Widowcast before. You click on that little search icon that looks like a magnifying glass and type in Widowcast. And then when you see the album cover for Widowcast, tap on that. Okay, and it's going to go to Widowcast just like you were a new subscriber. You're going to see where you can click on ratings and reviews. And once in there, click on leave a review. I know it takes extra steps, you guys, but please do this. Give me some stars. 5 stars are nice. And then just leave a sentence or two. That's all. Click submit, and soon your review will show up for my podcast there in iTunes. And when we get enough reviews in there, then iTunes will start making my podcast turn up more visible for widows that are looking for something to listen to. We need to get noticed. Okay? So, I want to thank you for listening to Widowcast. And hey, if you're ready to take that next step right now, or would like to just dive in and learn more about becoming a certified widow coach, you can go to widowcoaches.com. That's widowcoaches.com. That's going to let you put in your name and your email address, and you will get an email from me where you can fill out a little questionnaire, and perhaps we can just jump on the phone together if you really feel this is something you want to find out about. I would love to talk to you. So get out there, you guys, and find some joy in your day.